Hallo und willkommen zurück zu Underrail. Wir sind hier wieder bei den Tchort und gucken jetzt mal, wie wir hier weitermachen können. Wir sollen uns ja jetzt anscheinend irgendwie diesen Leuten anschließen. Freighter Denzel. The man seems somewhat uneasy as you come near him. Even though you are unable to see his face, what you are able to notice, how his body language expresses his apprehension. He's unable to stand completely still. He either taps his foot or crosses and uncrosses his arms or nervously looks all around him. When you near him, you notice a symbol on his uniform, a circular eye with two tentacles surrounding from it, similar to the symbol on the large doors behind him. Soon he speaks with a voice that sounds tense and hasty in one moment, and cold in the other. What is it? Who are you? Are you one of the Tchortists? I really like your robes, but I think they'd look much better in red. Who are you? I'm a Freighter Denzel, and yes, I'm a Tchortist. In case you haven't noticed, you are standing at the entrance to Institute of Tchort, and all these robot guards, reservoirs, are its members as well. We are here to preserve safety of the Institute, so be very careful of your actions during your time here. You got your answer, now leave me alone. Can you tell me more about Tchortism and Institute of Tchort? He sighs. No, I don't have the time for it, I'm busy. Not even for a few words? Come on, I'm not asking you to give me a full history of the organization. If you insist, he sighs. Institute of Tchort is an institution centered around Tchort, a magnificent creature whose sole existence is a source of unimaginable knowledge and is an inspiration to all Tchortists. Ever since our founder, Aiden, first studied Tchort genome, he discovered the potential to improve mankind, so I direct human evolution towards new heights. Tchort is evolution, evolution is Tchort. One cannot go without the other. And now, since you got a brief summary, you are going to leave me alone. I have important work to do. I would like to become a member of your organization. I'm sorry, but we can't accept new members at this particular time. We are full, so to say. As you can see, if you were to look around you, all these people here are waiting to join the Institute. But Alice, I have already mentioned, we cannot accept new members. Still, that doesn't stop them from waiting, which is to be respected. Tchort might reward their wait, but not at this time, unfortunately. I don't think you understand me. I really want to become a Tchortist. What is the matter with you? Are your ears vestigial? Vestigial? Keine Ahnung. It's like you can't hear me properly. We do not accept new members. Now buzz off. Buzz off? Is that your answer? I'm so disappointed. I never even suspected that a representative of such a grand and enchanting organization such as the Institute of Tchort would say something so foul to me. I was willing to dedicate the rest of my days to Tchortism and to happily spend those very days surrounded by men and women, brothers and sisters who are above all and the low-life scum inhabiting the rest of the Underrail. No, you buzz off. I want to become a member of your organization and you are in the way. Who do you even think you are anyway? Immer das? Magnificent Tchort! You must be some inbred bastard who lost the ability to understand human language several generations ago. He makes a short pause to allow some of the steam to come out and prevent him from exploding. Look, you don't want to be disturbing an Freighter. I can order these reservoirs here to cool you instantly and they wouldn't even flinch. Order them anything you want, but I'm standing my ground here. I want to join the Institute and I'm willing to do anything to achieve that goal. Something tells you that, despite him looking just angry on the outside, on the inside he's probably turning into a ball of plasma, reaching temperatures high enough to ignite nuclear fusion. Suddenly he cools down and his tone of voice becomes calmer, losing the red-hot edge. Anything you say. Anything you say. Interestingly, there is, well, an issue we could use some help with. Finally, we're getting somewhere. We have an issue with a missing figurine. Ja, wie ich mir schon gedacht habe. A very important metal figure. It was stolen from us and we want it back. Now, we aren't precisely sure who did it, but we suspect those devolved lunatic inbreds to be behind the theft. They taint everything they touch with their filthy hands. The metal figurine depicts a man reaching for a surface. He points up. Up there you can find it. We might make a deal about you joining us. Is this the figurine you're looking for? Where should I start looking for it? Well, our reservoir scouts have learned some time ago that large groups of lunatics were seen in the vicinity of the Emporian shopping mall. That's west of here. If the lunatics are the ones who took the figurine, that would be the best start. What can you tell me about the lunatics? Culling material, no question about it. They are as mentally derailed as one can be and are therefore extremely unpredictable. Their motives, patterns of or anything about them is impossible to figure out. They are powerful psionics, mind you, and that's pretty much the only thing we're sure about them. Why would they want that figurine? I don't know. I don't think even they know. That is all under assumption that they are the ones who stole the figurine. Is there another... Ich mache erstmal die anderen Dialogoptionen. Is there another way for me to join your organization? It's like you paid no attention to what I was talking about before. No, the figurine is the only thing that will make me consider trying to get you in. End of story. What's the deal with the figurine anyway? Why is it so important? I am not at liberty to reveal that information to you. If you do manage to retrieve it, then you will find out more. Figurine hunting, huh? I don't know. If I find it, I'll bring it here. Maybe. Well, I'll be leaving you. Is this the figurine you're looking for? His voice reveals instant excitement as soon as he is presented with the figurine. Wait, you had it on you this whole time? Why didn't you tell me about it? I didn't know you were looking for it. He smiles. Yes, that's the figurine, alright. Where did you find it? In the big shopping mall west of here. You were alright all along. The lunatics were the ones responsible for this theft. Unexpectedly, Denzel falls silent. He looks like he wants to say something, but perhaps can't find the right words. What's the matter? Well, I didn't really expect that. Someone like, you would be able to actually retrieve the figurine. Even just locate it, let alone retrieve from the clutches of whoever stole it. Whatever, I got the figurine as you asked. Now let me in. I want to join the Institute of Tchort. He sighs. A deal is a deal. Hand me the figurine and then I'll go inside and discuss your request with my superiors. It stays with me until you come back. You go talk to the superiors first, then you'll see the figurine again. He shrugs. I suppose that is acceptable, but don't go far. I return soon. Just as he wanted to leave, he turns back to you again. Wait a moment. I never caught your name. Kordanor. Alright, Kordanor, wait in front of the institute. Here. I'll be back as soon as I talk to someone. Just be patient. Tchort guide you. Wait for him to return. You wait, and as more time passes, you begin to wonder if Efrater Denzel is actually going to come back. After all, he couldn't wait to get rid of you the first time you talked. But then you remember that strange metal figurine is still in your hands, the one Tchortists want so badly. You begin thinking about the piece of metal with no other use than some symbolism about what awaits you ahead. However, your thoughts are soon interrupted by footsteps following a horrid rhythm you have already heard before. It is Efrater Denzel. Kordanor, I have talked to... He catches breath. To the Mediant and explained the situation to him. Therefore, the official words is as follows. You will be allowed to enter the Institute building, be interviewed, and if deemed fit, you will be offered Institute of Tchort membership. All that in exchange for the figurine you possess. Speaking of which, I would like to take it now. Then I'll lead you inside. I'm ready, take this. Alright, here's the little metal man. Can you finally tell me what's the deal with the figurine? Why is it so important to you? He sighs. It is a part of a larger collection which is being assembled in celebration of Institute of Tchort's 100th anniversary. Indeed, Foundry was commissioned to create this beautiful work of art and send it to us. After some unfortunate delays, it was due to finally arrive, but the carriers of the figurine were intercepted. I was asked to mobilize troops and retrieve it, and that is exactly what I did. With your help. Soon it will be back in Adian's hands, as it should be. Happy. Now, if you let me have the figurine, I'd be glad to show you the interview room. I'm ready. Take this. Efrater Denzel slowly picks up the figurine and scrutinizes it. Despite the fact that his face is covered with a mask, you are certain that a pleased grin lurks beneath it. His admiration doesn't last for long though. He looks at you and signals you to follow him. End dialogue. Follow me. Tchort. Get inside. The prepositor will be with you shortly. Da knackt es wieder. Ich habe im Hintergrund Chrome und Thunderbolt auf. Thunderbolt? Nein. Thunder Dings, das E-Mail-Programm von Mozilla. Irgendwie verträgt das Spiel das nicht. The room you are in made you claustrophobic and uneasy from the start. Not necessarily by the fact that the room is indeed small, but by how small your pool of options become should something bad occur. You had prepared yourself for the worst, knowing that you will be in an unfamiliar place where anything is possible and you can go awry. Well, seeing this beautiful woman dressed in black robe, which almost inappropriately flows over her feminine features, accenting them enough even for the blind to see, was most certainly not what you were expecting. A deathly robe envelops her arresting face like black oil spilled over a shining lump of gold. Her striking green eyes immediately meet yours. Her white, smooth face, free of imperfections, seems like it has been crafted out of marble by several of the finest artists in existence. Hair, mostly concealed by the sinister hood, still manages to gently flow out of it and present how luxuriant it actually is. Her voice is much akin to her appearance. It too has a distinct seductive charm. It resonates with appeal and warmth, and while being mostly level, it never becomes monotone nor boring. Tchort is evolution. I would like to welcome you to the Institute of Tchort. Postulant. My name is Amelia, and I am the Institute's preposter. Your name is Kordanor, if I am not mistaken. That is correct. It's a pleasure to meet you. Prepostor. It is whatever you say it is. Damn, with such enchanting looks, even if you were death itself coming to take me, I'd let you do without a second thought. That is correct. She gives you a soft smile. The pleasure is mutual, Kordanor. Despite the current situation, you have somehow managed to find yourself before me. The Efretor was very convincing when he spoke to the rest of us about your deeds. Now that we are making an exception for you, just for you. For I'm sure the Infrator told you our institution is not accepting new members. Now, I'd like to ask you several preliminary questions, general in nature, before we advance this interview. So, you're interested in joining the Institute of Tchort and becoming a Tchortist, is that correct? Ever since I heard about the organization, I've been dying to become part of it. This is correct, Prepostor. I would be delighted to join your organization, if you'd be willing to accept me. Das hier. Tell me something of yourself, Kordanor. Where are you from? I don't live in a single place. I roam South Underrail and sleep wherever I find comfortable place. Nehmen wir das. Can you tell me what guides you through life? What motivates you? Try to give me a concise answer. My unquenchable thirst for knowledge guides me through life. I live to know more, and knowing more allows me to live on. I surrender myself to life and let it lead me. I am a man of the moment, of the present. Past brings tears, future brings fears. I've dedicated my life to protect all that is good and beautiful. I believe one man, whoever he may be, and from wherever he comes from can influence the world and change the world for the better. I only care about myself and fulfilling my own desires. I won't crawl through life upon my knees, but straight on my very own feet. I am my own universe. When someone strikes me, I strike them back. When someone loves me, I love back. My actions are reactions. That is my philosophy. Loot is life. Life is loot. My unquenchable thirst. Interesting. And you feel that, with that philosophy in mind, joining the Institute of Tchort is the right decision? Not just right. Perfect. Perfect. And how much exactly do you know about the Institute of Tchort and the general ideology of Tchortism? Actually, I know only the bare minimum, but I feel it's enough for me to make a choice. So far, nothing I've witnessed here made me second guess my original decision. Zweite, I've had previous encounters with Tchortis and therefore Tchortism. I've learned quite a few things, which made me interested in it and ultimately come here. Dritte, I had attended one of Minister Percival's lectures in Core City and was fascinated by what I heard during it. That was one of the main reasons I decided to come here. Very good, Kordanor. Minister Percival is one of our finest propagators, and I'm sure his lecture was very insightful. Still, allow me to elaborate our ideology, just to make sure you are familiar with it, at least for now. Its main principles. Afterwards, you will have to make one final choice of joining our institution or not, if you are still willing. Institute of Tchort is an institution dedicated to study and celebration of Tchort, a primordial being that was discovered in deep caverns nearly 100 years ago by Stygian, the founder of this institution, as well as Tchortism. What he had discovered then and there was magnificent. The creature had been undergoing a unique cycle of regeneration. It was completely formless, changing and adapting to the current environment. Since Stygian was, and still is, the only person that can communicate with Tchort, he was able to study it and uncover what secrets it holds within its magnificent genome. He learned that Tchort holds the key to evolving the human race to new heights. One day, perhaps, through directed evolution, as Stygian originally named it, humankind will hopefully find a way to adapt to the life on surface and escape this gloomy underground. Principally, Tchort represents two things: the physical being and the knowledge it holds. Consequently, Tchortism, being guided by Tchort, aims to direct human evolution with its help. In essence, that is who Tchortists are and what we stand for. Which brings us to the next question. Tell me, Kordanor, do you still stand by your previous decision? Do you still want to become a member of the Institute of Tchort? If your answer is positive, then we can finally start with the second phase of the interview. I have to say, I got even more excited about Tchortism after what you've told me. I am more than ready. She smiles. Very good. I am pleased to hear that, even though that is the answer expected from you. Now, allow me to explain what happens next. I am going to be asking you a set of questions, simple questions that require no hard thinking, only honesty. You will answer these questions and any sub-questions that might arise during the process. Don't worry, this won't take long. Let us begin with the first question. She takes a single piece of paper containing the questions, clears her throat and begins. Have you been sent here knowingly to enjoy Tchortism? I came here to find the mysterious cube. No. She looks at you a bit longer than usual, after which she writes something on the paper. Next question. How do you feel about Tchortism? Let's put it this way. I wouldn't be here if I didn't think it was worth my time. I think it makes a lot of sense, and that it's the path I want to take. I think it's all rubbish. I don't believe a word of it. In fact, I'm here to just find out about the mysterious cube Tchort stole from Core City. I think it makes a lot of sense, and that it's the path I want to take. Very good. Next question. Do you think there's anything wrong with having your privacy invaded? Depends on the situation. It is for greater good, then yes. Otherwise, I'm not keen on the concept. Interesting. Next question. Have you ever been a drug addict? I had some drug-related experiences in the past, but I'm clean now. I don't even go to answer nature's call without bringing some chemicals with me, just in case I need it. No. Next question. Have you ever killed anyone? Pff, hell yeah! Only when it was necessary. Next question. Are you upset by this questioning? No, why would I be? Next question. Do you hope you won't be found... What? Do you hope you won't be found out? Damn it, I have been busted. Attack. I have nothing to hide, that's my answer. She crosses her arms and observes you, occasionally moving her head from left to right and vice versa. Before you get a chance to break the silence, she uncrosses her hands and asks you the next question. Next question. Have you ever smothered a baby? What? No. What kind of sick person would do something like that? Well, there was that ugly little... No, forget I said that. Was? Nein. You'd be surprised what different breeds of people come here. Next question. Have you ever eaten human flesh? Not knowingly. Next question. Would you be willing to sacrifice the lives of several innocent people to save one dear to you? No. I see. Next question. Have you ever felt that there's another creature in your body? Like Tchort? Yes, yes! Nein. A tapeworm once. But other than that, nothing. No. Next question. Did you ever hurt yourself? Only if my own grenades land too close. Otherwise, no. A barely visible quirk appears in the corner of her mouth, threatening to manifest itself into a real honest smile. Sadly, it lasts but a fraction of a second. Last question. Have you ever been a spy for anybody? I worked for one of the core city oligarchs in the past. Which one? Praetorian security. She puts the paper down and looks you straight in the eye. Why are you really here, Kordanor? To join the Institute of Tchort. That seems quite unexpected. A sound of echoing footsteps coming from the hallway outside interrupts your sentence. Preposter Emilia, despite her relaxed, calm stare, seems to be prepared for what is about to happen. Fight? Okay, da haben wir anscheinend, hätte ich das mit dem Prätorianer-Dings da nicht auswählen dürfen. Ich meine, man kann wahrscheinlich auch so dann weitermachen. Und man alle abmurkst, aber ich versuche mal, das auf anderem Pfad zu machen. Mache ich jetzt gerade wieder so wie eben und werde auch noch bei dem Prätorianer Protector-Dings da lügen. 1. Been dying to become a part of it. Thirst knowledge. Ja. Ja. To know. Have you ever smothered a baby? No. No. Spy. No. Preposter Emilia looks at the paper, inspecting all the notes she took during the interview. Afterwards, she puts away the piece of paper and gives you the familiar "too long for comfort" stare. Luckily, it ends with a pleasant smile. Very good, Kordanor, very good. Those were all the questions I had for you. Now, I'd just like to ask you to give me a sample of your blood and wait patiently for me to return. What for? It is something all novitates must undergo. Consider it a kind of initiation. There are two primary reasons for this. First, it's a tradition that was a symbolic meaning. You give but a small part of yourself to Tchort, and in turn, Tchort will give you means to adapt and evolve to a whole new height. Second, we test blood for all postulants for health-related reasons. We don't want any surprises. The process is simple and quick. You will only feel a little sting. Okay, I have no objections to that. Prepostor Emilia pulls out a strange device. It looks like a large black ornamented syringe with a see-through tube and has tiny metal tentacles climbing towards the needle. Twisting around the device, she inserts the needle into your flesh, and while you feel only a little sting, the feeling of uneasiness presents due to the whole atmosphere. The procedure is very quick. She pulls the needle with a smile, and the syringe is now full of your blood. She places the gauze on the wound before stepping away. That is all I need. Please wait for me while I return. Kordanor, it won't be long. Okay. Congratulations, postulant, or should I say novitiate. You have been selected, therefore you have been granted membership to the Institute of Tchort. I suspect you are tired. It was a long and challenging day for you, I'm sure, so I will give you a very brief rundown of what awaits you within the Institute. As of now, you are a novitiate, a new member of the Institute of Tchort, whose first task is to familiarize himself with Tchortism, obtain necessary knowledge and find his place within the institution. We offer many means to do so, but we will get to that later. The next thing I must tell you is about the three main divisions of Institute of Tchort: preservation, investigation and propagation. Each of these three divisions has a specific purpose. Preservation exists to protect or preserve Tchort, aid in the Institute and all of its members, and prides itself with its highly trained and well-equipped individuals. Investigation, on the other hand, concerns itself with obtaining, organizing and applying knowledge, studying Tchort and the world around us with the ultimate goal of directing human evolution towards the better future. Finally, propagation exists to educate or propagate said knowledge, both within Institute of Tchort as well as beyond. I hope you're following me so far, Kordanor. Novitiates are free to select what suits them best. After they have studied enough and made up their mind, they can select anything they liked and perform their part within Institute of Tchort. Currently, since propagation is undergoing an internal restructuring phase, becoming an acolyte at this stage is highly improbable. So, investigation or preservation are divisions I would direct you to for the time being. Of course, if you are really patient and willing, propagation too will open its doors to you at some point. A few more principal things before I finally let you go and rest. As a matter, you are granted your own bed in the Institute's sleeping quarters and a personal locker for your belongings. Also, your medallion has already been placed in it, waiting for you. Now, you can find quarters by going down the right set of stairs just after entering the main hall. Opposite of that, left from the entrance, is the refectory. I think you might be more familiar with the term canteen. The Institute's library, Ainden's library, is at the second floor to the left and is probably the most important place for novitiates. That is where you can read about history, scientific works, and more importantly, read the original report. The original report? It describes Aiden's first encounter with Tchort, his thoughts and impressions, and documents the beginning of his research. It is an essential read for every Tchortist. Again, Aiden's library should be one of your first stops. While we are at the subject of the library, I must add this. The old, destroyed section of the West Wing has recently been reopened by preservation forces. A reservoir expedition was dispatched there. It is extremely dangerous, and while it is guarded by reservoirs, I must still warn you to avoid it until after it has been sealed again. Is that everything I should know? One more thing, and we are done. Official greetings and manner of addresses. When first starting a conversation with any members of the Institute of Tchort, it is a custom for the first speaker to say, "Tchort is evolution," to which the other party replies, "Evolution is Tchort." The meaning of the greeting is clear. I hope. Commonly, you may refer to Tchortists as brother or sister, based on their gender, but if they hold a higher title, a certain notability, then you should address them appropriately. This is already too much information for you. In time you will learn everything. You are free to go and get some rest, brother. If you have more questions, ask now or find me in my office at the top level. I would be glad to answer all the questions you may have about the Institute of Tchort. Add some more questions for you before you leave. Can you tell me more about the West Wing? The West Wing had been in ruins long before the existence of the Institute of Tchort and was always sealed off from the rest of the building. When a large earthquake of year 24 struck and demolished the library, a refectory and a good part of the main hall, a discussion took place whether to restore the West Wing together with everything else, since the Institute building is very large and, especially back when the number of members was smaller, there was no need to rebuild the severely damaged West Wing. It would take away too many resources from other, more important things. Therefore, the entrance to it was sealed again, while other damaged sections were repaired. As years passed, various creatures found their homes in the darkness of the West Wing. People began complaining about scratching sounds coming from the walls, hearing strange voices calling them. Some even mentioned seeing the faceless looking at them from the ventilation grates or other lightless openings. Of course, some of these were just wild exaggerations and outstanding interpretations conjured up by petrified minds. But the fact that the West Wing wildlife has expanded was a real proven issue. In year 67, more than 40 years after West Wing had been demolished, a reservoir expedition led by Ephratia Gromis was dispatched to cull the overpopulated wildlife. The operation was a success for a time. Culling was going as planned for 2 days. It was slow and methodical due to the West Wing's size and danger factor. Then, after 2 days, contact was lost with the whole expedition. Only one reservoir returned, mutilated beyond recognition. The poor man dragged the upper half of his severed body back to the checkpoint, but only just. He died moments later after seeing his brothers and sisters watching him in horror. The cut that severed his body in half was astoundingly clean, and to this day no one is sure what creature was capable of managing something like that. The West Wing was closed and remained closed for 30 more years until it was reopened recently. Aiden, pardon me, I suppose I should have shortened the story, but there's something fascinating about it, something mysterious. Well, did you have any more questions? What can you tell me about yourself? I'm sorry, Kordanor, but I would rather not speak of myself. The only thing I'm willing to tell you is that I'm an institute born and that I have been a dedicated Tchortist for the entirety of my life. Do you have any other questions, novitiate? I'm interested in some directions. What are you interested in, Kordanor? Sleeping quarters. Going from the direction of the main gate, take the right set of stairs from the main hall and you will be there. Next, if you follow a long corridor, you will get into the room you are situated in, which is also shared with other members. It is the only room with double doors in that area. Aiden's library. Second floor, just as you step into the western section of Institute of Tchort. Refectory. Going from the main entrance, take the stairs to the left, very easy to find. Medical office. It is in the same section as the sleeping quarters, at the very end of one of the corridors near the room you are residing in. You cannot miss it. Are there any merchants around here? Food and drink can be purchased in the refectory. Weapons and armor in preservation armory, east wing, second floor. For medicine and other medical equipment, talk to our proto-physician. Investigator of Medicine, Jerry France. Also, one of the 3 investigation departments might also help you with more specialized equipment, should you need any of that. Where should I go if I'm interested in working for preservation? Second floor, east wing. Once you enter it through the main hall, you will arrive in a central area with a fountain. Once there, take the only stairs up and you will soon come up with his notability, Median Samuel's office. Seek him if you are interested in learning more about preservation and becoming a reservoir. Where should I go if I'm interested in working for investigation? Investigation consists of 3 departments: genetics, chemistry and physics. All 3 departments have their laboratories and offices located in the east wing. Each department is overseen by a principal investigator. They can help you if you are interested in any of the mentioned fields or seek work. Let me ask you something else. That is all I needed to know for now. Well then, welcome to the Institute of Tchort, brother, and Tchort guide you. Wait for her to leave. Holla die Walti. Und genug fürs nächste Level. Moment, dann mache ich hier erstmal ein Quicksave, dann level mal gerade und dann mache ich nochmal einen einzelnen Speicherstand. Dann muss ich mal gucken, wie das mit den 3 unterschiedlichen Flügeldingern da ist. So, wir haben nur Skills zur Auswahl. 115 ist das neue Max. Okay. Also das neue normale Max, auf das man die Boni bekommt. Tja, noch gut Punkte übrig. Ich könnte jetzt mal Stealth auf Maximum bringen. Aber immer noch 12 Punkte übrig. Könnten wir jetzt in Persuasion stecken, vielleicht kommt das nochmal. Oder halt, Tailoring auf 140 oder was es war anheben. Allerdings war das ja wirklich nur für die Brustplatte, den Brustpanzer, den ich wahrscheinlich sowieso nicht verwenden werde, weil das Ding, was ich anhab, schon extrem gut ist. Ich mache Persuasion. Ja. Man könnte natürlich auch hier die beiden weiter ausbauen. Aber jetzt machen wir erstmal hier das. Ja, Feeds gibt's keine. Accept. Okay. Save. Tchort 2. Pay him. The reservoir turns to you and silently watches you for a few moments, as if expecting you to say something first. Tchort is evolution, brother. Hey there! He raises his head just slightly and answers with a slow, unhurried voice. Evolution is Tchort, brother. I am Reservoir Payam, and I am in charge of monitoring and security. What can I do for you? Are you in charge of opening the main gate? Yes, that is correct. All arrivals and departures are carefully monitored from this very room, and if you, for instance, wanted to leave the building, you'd have to use that intercom there and state the reason for your movement. So every time someone wants to enter and leave, has to answer to you. Well, I am most certainly not going to question notability regarding the reasons for leaving or entering the Institute building. Magnificent Tchort, no, but we can't have, for instance, a novitiate like you simply stroll in and out however he pleases without answering to anyone. The procedures are there to be followed and respected, and if it is bothering you, you better adapt to it. So every time someone blah blah, do fights or shootouts ever occur between people right outside the main gate? Fights? Rarely. Shootings? Never. Sometimes a brawl would break out, but mostly between inbreds who aren't worthy of our attention in the first place and had just arrived to cause trouble. Still, when these fights occur, we usually react quickly and deal with the situation. Excluding those, incidents are rare and in the institute courtyard. Excluding those, incidents are rare in the institute courtyard. Visitors feel safe here, and that's how we intend them to. I would like to ask you several questions about Tchortism. I'm sorry, but I'm busy at the moment. My recommendation would be to either visit Aiden's library or talk to someone from propagation, Posta Emilia, for instance. Of course, reading the original report should be your priority, if you haven't done so already. Anything else? Tchort guide you, brother. Tchort guide you, brother. Okay. Sollen wir wirklich zuerst zur Library gehen, würde ich sagen. Minister Percival returned prematurely from Core City due to the faceless threat. I don't know what us acolytes would do without Aiden's library. Aha. Scopitophore. Ich habe auch schon wieder die ganzen Richtungen vergessen. Das hier sieht aber nach der Library aus. Jo. Good job returning was? Good job returning the... Ist auch egal. Go. Das ist aber schon richtig groß. Kurator Nenner. The woman, upon noticing your approach, puts her hand on her chest and salutes you. Her voice is quiet, almost a whisper, yet it sounds perfectly clear and understandable thanks to the almost unreal silence within the library. Tchort's Evolution, welcome to Aiden's library, brother. I'm Curator Nenner. Can I help you with anything? What can you tell me about Aiden's library? Aiden's library is the major repository of information for the Institute of Tchort. The library's database offers over 6 million pages of textual content ranging from both contemporary and historical works in different scientific fields, as well as of preserved works of literary arts, journals, documents, and other. Most of it is in digital form and accessible to all members at any time, but there is also a significant number of physical copies which, due to their rarity as well as the fragility of the medium, require special permissions. It goes without saying that Aiden's library contains the single most important, most monumental document in the history of Tchortism, the original report, written by none other than Aiden himself. Being a novitiate, you are advised to start with the original report before moving on to more current Tchort-related works. What exactly is the original report? The original report was written 100 years ago when Aiden first discovered Tchort in the dark depths of the deep caverns. This short text describes the event itself, Aiden's original discoveries and thoughts. Essentially, it narrates the genesis of Tchortism. If you haven't read it still, brother, do so as soon as possible. And I am completely honest here, have read it an uncountable amount of times, and I am most certainly not the only one to have done so. Can you tell me something about the library's history? I can give you some brief information, yes. This room we are currently in was a library from the very day the building was constructed. While it was much smaller, I should say humbler in regards to available information, it was nonetheless just as integral to the Institute of Tchort as it is today, embracing all those who seek knowledge with wide open arms. Sadly, the grand earthquake of year 24 turned it, as well as the whole West Wing, into rubble. Most physical copies the library contained were destroyed, with only a few salvaged copies retrieved from the rubble. What a waste. Of course, Aiden knew that the library had to be restored to its previous glory, so on his will the library was rebuilt within a relatively short period of time. Institute members named the library in his honor, and it remained so until this day. I hope that is the answer you sought. Was there anything else you wanted to ask me? Short guide, you Nenner. And you too, brother. Read well. Ja, da haben wir noch immer eine ganze Menge Text vor uns, glaube ich. Terminal. Welcome to Aiden's library, brother. Today's quote: "We can and we must." Aiden. The original report. The original report by Aiden Travers. I was the only one still alive from the expedition, as I found myself before this gigantic metal gate which stood closed and seemingly impenetrable. I began to ponder the most recent events, sure that these moments were to be my last, for the whole expedition was doomed from the start. It has been many years since Hollow Earth was left to rust in the forbidding bowels of deep caverns. Biocorp had only begun to recuperate from the damage it suffered during the split when technocrats called me into their office. They explained to me that they wanted to unearth, pardon the expression, several abandoned but not forgotten projects from Hollow Earth, and salvage that which can be salvaged from the once impressive research complex. Biocorp desired this expedition in hopes of at least slowing down its decline, which started years ago and wasn't about to stop. Internal struggles only worsened the situation. Of course, due to the severity of the task, it could not be entrusted to just about anyone. A senior scientist of my qualifications and experience was to lead the expedition, since only someone like that could be allowed to lay eyes on some of the most sensitive information Biocorp ever possessed. I accepted. I was truly excited to be going into deep caverns, and despite being familiar with how hostile the environment was, I cared very little for that fact. On the contrary, I viewed it as a new opportunity, a new high point in my career, and entrusted our survival into the hands of Captain Sagan's men without overthinking it. Few of my scientist colleagues were also to follow me on this mission, and once all parties were ready, we made our descent into death. At least for most of us. Environment had changed significantly between the Hollow Earth incident and the moment of our arrival, even more than we expected. Environmental hazards, natural predators in form of horrid and surprisingly alien creatures, as well as other unexplained phenomena, were quick to decimate us. Bullets can stop beasts, but for how long? Hazard suits can save us from toxic fumes and corrosive liquids, but for how long? Reaching the main complex soon proved to be a mission impossible. The immediate way to the east was blocked by an impenetrable cave-in, so we had to circumvent it by going to the north. After taking the first few steps toward our goal, we already found ourselves under siege by death itself, and it sated its hunger quickly. Luckily, before it got to me. I was the only one still alive from my expedition. We fled north and found... Was? I was the only one still alive from my expedition und dann we fled north? Soll es nicht heißen I fled north? We fled north and found refuge by one of the large gates. Rust, mold, and demise were in the oxygen-devoured air, as well as some strange pulsating sensation, which violently pressed on my skull. Poor captain, the only one still with me, was lying in a corner and was slowly fading away, with the last bits of life leaving his mangled body, surrendering it to decay. He performed his duty to his very last breath. I was ready for the same fate, but then the large gates opened. Light illuminated the area, and strange pain from my head was instantly gone. While the lights weren't as bright as the ones in university, it was much better than the dwindling glow of my last flare. I stepped through the gate and faced something I wasn't prepared for. I faced it. It was giant, it was alien, it was formless. Strange creature was before me, and I had no clue of its origin or intentions, or really anything. All I could see is pure flesh, with tentacles sprouting from it in all their glory. The sensation in my head returned, but this time it wasn't trying to kick down the door to my mind. Instead, it gently knocked. I answered politely. Tchort was the only thing I could interpret during this peculiar exchange of thoughts, for everything else can simply be described as just some strange feeling in my head. During my 3-week stay, I was allowed by Tchort to study it. Leftover equipment I was able to find in these old labs I combined with some of my own utilities and was able to set up an improvised laboratory, which was most excellent. Regarding nourishment, I still had my own personal supplies up to a point in time. Afterwards, I had to rely on natural sources. This is what I had learned during my stay before I finally left Tchort and returned back, certain that what I had found was an extraordinary discovery of unimaginable importance. Tchort can be defined as a large multicellular organism of unknown age, but judging from its genetic makeup, it is primordial. While it shares a lot of common sequences with every living being ranging from the first single-cell organisms up to modern mammals, it is not directly related to us in any way. We do not have a clear common ancestor. How is that possible? Well, that I am about to explain. The creature can enter a state of unique type of regeneration cycles in which it loses any recognizable form and undergoes a genetic self-repair. It puzzled me how and why it does so, but I had answers faster than I had thought I would. Tchort has a remarkably similar cell and DNA structure to us. The number of chromosomes and genes is indeed different, but a lot of recognizable sequences can be found there. The part of its genome that was non-coding was larger than in humans, and by studying it I have learned the answer to those 2 questions I asked myself previously. Whenever the creature begins suffering from any form of mutations, chromosomal deterioration, or even cancer, it can enter the aforementioned state of regeneration. It might do so in case when the environment changes drastically and new traits are necessary to survive. I was even able to pinpoint the gene responsible for this. Now, what happens when the creature begins regenerating is this. Its non-coding part of the genome, which can be, in Tchort's case, considered something of a genetic backup, begins coding for proteins which in turn change and rebuild the whole chromosome, even up to the telomeres. How it knows what sort of adaptation it needs to survive in the new environment is not yet clear, nor how it is able to recombine or even create these new sequences. But even this was a magnificent find, and raised another question. Can this be applied to humans or other living creatures as well? Due to the similarity of the DNA structure, the answer might as well be yes, and with that many other questions sprang to my mind. Could we too use what we learn from Tchort and adapt ourselves at will? Could we live infinitely? Would we be able to control our own evolution and strive toward a goal unimaginable before? Could we finally return to the surface world? I wanted answers, and for that I was going to need time and support, as I had given Tchort the final look before I left, hoping that it wasn't going to be really the last one. It became clear in my mind what I must do. My return to university as a lone survivor turned out to be quite interesting, and can best be described as an end to one thing, and the beginning of the other. End of the original report. Important dates. Year 1. Alien discovers Tchort. Information of Institute of Tchort. Biocorp Armed Forces renamed to Preservation, Education and Science merged into Investigation. Great East Wing Fire. Principal Investigator Monsignor Giacomo, Institute of Tchort's first Monsignor, dies from a sudden cardiac arrest. Principal Investigator Evdoc attempts a coup. Reservoir Monsignor Torin dies protecting Adrian. A strong earthquake demolishes the Institute of Library as well as the large part of West Wing and Main Hall. Damages repaired within the same year. Principal Investigator Monsignor Athea becomes Episcopos. Investigation prosperity period starts. A series of major conflicts with Faceless, culminating with the Battle of Nucleus, won by harmless Monsignor Martial's Preservation Forces. Last major conflict with the Faceless. Prosperity period for investigation ends with death of Episcopos, Monsignor Anthea. The great mourning over the loss of West Wing expedition, which perished due to known causes. Investigator Monsignor Peter dies. Investigator Monsignor Christopher dies from cancer. Investigator Monsignor Minty's death. Formation of Propagation Division from Education Department of Investigation and several other smaller departments. Harmless Monsignor Martial dies of old age. Investigator Monsignor Lenora dies. Monsignor? Okay, ich glaube, das ist einfach dieser spanische Titel. Habe ich, glaube ich, so noch nie geschrieben gesehen. Lenore dies 2 days after publishing her 28th paper. Biocorp's final discussion and Institute courtyard riots. Year 90, Monsignor Bardrock, Institute's historian, dies. Medication export for Core City started. Success of investigator Monsignor Gustav's recombinant project revealed at the annual investigation symposium. First recombinant in action. Investigator Monsignor Gustav choked to death. Neural pacification project revealed at the annual investigation symposium. Exit. And Dialogue. Jo, damit hätten wir auch die Library erstmal durch, glaube ich. Und dann ist es auch hier Zeit, einen Schnitt zu machen. Und dann schauen wir uns beim nächsten Mal weiter um. Ich denke, hier haben wir sicherlich noch eine halbe Stunde bis eine Stunde Gelaber vor uns. Mal schauen. Bis denn!